TypeScript now is one of the most popular ways of building software, especially if you're doing anything with JavaScript on front end and back end. You probably have heard about TypeScript and you have also used it. In fact, there are a lot of interesting initiatives going on as well with TypeScript, like TSGo, for example, which is a rewrite of TypeScript in Golang, which will provide a lot of speed up, which is really, really cool. And it's going to happen. I think you can still use it right now, if I'm not wrong, but it's still experimental. They are still building features and so on. But the thing is that with Node.js coming up versions like Node.js 25, for example, what I'm seeing is a pattern is that it's becoming more and more like Bun, right? So there are a lot of ideas that are getting shared. There are a lot of things that are getting shared, whether that's in terms of performance, whether that's in terms of feature set, like executing TypeScript directly and so on. So Node currently, in terms of feature sets, I would still say is nowhere as powerful as Bun. But on the other hand, Bun is nowhere as stable as Node.js, right? If you see, for example, if you see on Bun's repository, you will find that there are a lot of issues and a lot of performance related bugs still, right? So you will see that there are about 5,000 open issues. I'm sure like Node would also have its own share of things and bugs here and there. But things like these crash reports and segmentation fault on some specific operating system and so on, this is what personally scares me as a developer to use it in any critical production facing infrastructure, right? You can obviously use it, especially in environments like serverless, right? Where you know that the context is getting recreated. So even if there's an internal Bun memory leak or something that's happening, that still would not matter because you're getting new Bun invocations every time. But if you are running like a simple server with Bun index.ts and you're starting it off and you're expecting that there is nothing wrong with your code, I would probably not do that until and unless you also have a layer of systemd, for example, a process manager or something that is able to restart it, because there are a lot of these issues with errors and crashes and segmentation faults and things like this, which is extremely, you can say, scary for any production system. You would not see those issues in Node.js on the expense that yes, Node.js is not as fast as Bun in terms of speed of features. You can see Bun is extremely cool in terms of feature it releases. There are a lot of things that are going on. If you go to their blog and if you see, for example, this was just a couple of weeks back, right? So you can see like it constantly keeps on improving, but at the same time, you want to have the stability of Node, right? Personally, in my company, as well as for any of my projects, I don't really use anything involving Bun on the runtime. You can use Bun for build time, like installs and script runs and so on. But for the runtime, it's always Node.js because of the only one reason, which is stability. And there is a way to actually get similar experience like Bun in Node as well, including TypeScript execution, right? So I don't know why not a lot of people talk about this, but there is a very cool thing called TSX, which is also now part of official Node.js documentation, where they mention that Node actually supports full TypeScript support. For this, you have to use TSX as a package. So TSX is basically Bun for TypeScript, but executing on Node.js internally, right? So you can just run TypeScript directly with TSX and it would just operate like Bun. I would go even one step further and I would say that you don't have to use it as a development dependency. You can just install it globally so that you can just use it in your CLI anywhere you want. And it's pretty cool because it's able to read tsconfig, it's able to build your code with esbuild internally, and it's able to execute it without actually spitting out all the JS files anywhere. To give you an example of this, let's just say if I do something like this, which is a very simple, function. Let's say I just name this script.ts for now. And if I try to run this with TSX, what you will see is that this runs perfectly fine, right? You get 8 as the answer, which is expected. If you run this with Bun, you will see that you will get the same output. The thing is that now what they're saying is that even with Node, you can run basic TypeScript, right? So it will be able to type strip. It will be able to strip the types over here and it will be able to execute it directly, right? For that, you need Node.js version 25. It was already supported in previous versions as well, but in Node.js 25, it's supported out of the box, right? It also says that Node currently ignores tsconfig and therefore features that depend on settings within tsconfig like paths and converting newer JavaScript syntax are intentionally unsupported, right? So you can't do this with Node.js, which is actually one of the major use cases of TypeScript, using TypeScript in general, which is like having a shared tsconfig with a lot of configurations and hooks and knobs. So you would probably not be able to use this in your big code base directly, just like you're using Bun, for example, but you can always use TSX. This is an extremely good, and I've seen like no problem at all using something like this instead of Bun directly in your code base, as long as you are not using any proprietary APIs from Bun, like, their S3 package or MySQL package. If you're writing code which is compatible with Node.js and Bun bun both. You can use TSX directly, it will just work like bun itself. So the Node version that I have right now is version 22, so I'll probably just set up, let's say 25 for now, just to show you guys how this would be looking like. And let me activate version 25 now. Great, so now if you see, my Node version is 25 and I should be hopefully able to run this directly, right? So you can see with Node also I just get 8 directly. Now the thing is, let's figure out which one is faster, right? Because we can do that a little bit. So let's say if I do Node first, you will see that it spent about 5 milliseconds is in user land, 1 millisecond in system, and CPU time is also extremely small, right? Similarly, if you run this with TSX, what you will see is TSX is slightly slower because it's doing the transpilation first, right? It's not just doing type stripping, it's also invoking ES build, it's doing a bunch of stuff. It's probably trying to read TS config, it's doing a bunch of stuff, right? So this is a true equivalent of, you know, comparing it to, for example, bun in that specific case, because this is like, it'll honor TS config and all the stuff that bun does. And if we look at bun, for example, again, this is a very simple and stupid script, so it will not make a lot of sense to time it. But you can see that bun is the fastest, right? And of course, that is going to be the case because they have optimized it a lot. Bun is extremely fast in terms of speed, paths and code paths, and the initial execution time as well, right? So, but I just want to clarify this, that don't let these stats fool you. This does not really matter, because at the end, what matters is how long your script takes to execute an action, right? And Node and bun, for example, is built on WebKit. Node is built on V8, which is Chrome, which also Chrome uses. And these V8 engines and WebKit both have really good just-in-time compilers, right? So if your code keeps on running over and over again for a long duration of time, the performance overhead, unless you are using some cryptic API, which is like not optimized very well in Node.js, but it's very optimized in bun, the performance overhead will not be as large as you're thinking, right? It will not be like bun is 10 times faster or 100 times faster than Node in a long running server. I'm talking about long running, because at the end, what happens is as your Node process keeps on running, for example, let's say you have an HTTP server here, you know, which accepts like an API endpoint, and you know, you're calling the sum function and just keeps on happening, like you're running it for a few minutes, for a few hours and so on. What Node will start doing internally, what V8 will start doing, is that it'll start to optimize the hot paths, where it sees that, okay, you're not messing around with the types a lot, you're not messing around with object properties a lot. So it'll start to optimize the assembly code of the node itself in order to make it faster, right? And once that happens, you won't be able to see much of performance difference. This performance difference that you see with bun and node initially, that happens because of the start time, and that happens because bun has optimized a lot of inner functions here and there, right? So a lot of small work, a lot of small things in a lot of places have been done by bun. But with that being said, personally, what I have seen is that the performance difference, if you have a well-written application which is not using some weird Node APIs, the performance difference is not as much as you think in a longer running server, right? So I would trade, at least for now, for today, I would trade that performance, whatever that is, maybe like 2x, 3x, with the stability that Node gives. That is, it's not crashing suddenly with seg faults and so on any day, right? So that is something that I would do for at least production projects. You can surely run staging or, you know, your non-critical workloads with bun for now, but I would not bet on that for now. There is also a third player in this game, third prominent player, I would say, Deno, which has, I think, raised a bunch of funding, as well as they have like a working product with Rust as the core of their product. I don't feel it's as popular as bun and nowhere popular as Node, for example, but I have seen some people being huge fans of Deno, because you can do the same thing, right? You can just run TypeScript directly. It's under the hood doing the same thing as bun and TSX, type stripping using TS config and stuff like that. Earlier, Deno does not used to support NPM also. Now they have done that. But what I've seen is, for some reason, and I don't know what that is exactly, maybe it's just performance, or maybe it's just marketing, or the way bun ships and makes it visible in front of community. I have just seen that bun is far more popular in terms of developers, among developers, and, you know, people picking it up as a new alternative to Node.js compared to Deno. I don't really know how stable Deno is as a product, because I have personally also not used it a lot. I know like bun is not there where you would want to use it in production workloads and critical workloads just yet. But yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. Like, maybe like a year in. So I'll wait for that. Finally, what I see is that the future of Node.js is that you should bet on Node, right? If you're betting on Node, you will not be wrong. That is what I can see, what I can feel is that if you bet on Node, the team is moving fast. They're adding new things, new features. Node 25 is already here. It has like a bunch of new things. Type stripping, for example, is stable now. You can just run directly TS files also. And for anything that involves like a bunch of more TS configs and stuff, TSX is your bet. TSX is not a sponsor of this video, but this is one of the best libraries on NPM, probably by a large margin, right? So you could probably ask me to give up on any other CLI or library, but TSX would remain, because this brings you, the benefit of Bun always was, before I discovered TSX, was that you don't have to transpile and manually write, a pipeline to execute TypeScript based monorepo projects inside of your monorepo itself, right? We used to do that. It was a very complex architecture. We will build the whole package first and their dependencies, and we'll try to do some bunch of stuff, and we failed it. And then I just discovered randomly that, hey, this TSX, something called TSX exists, and you just run with it and it just works. It has 15 million downloads, roughly weekly downloads, and it's growing. I mean, a lot. So I presume that this will keep on growing as more Node.js developers discover this. But this is a good library. You should give it a try if you have not. But yeah, I do feel at some point it's not impossible that TSX or a functionality like that becomes a core of Node itself. And given the fact that we have projects like TypeScript Go also coming up, I would not be surprised if there is some level of integration, at least like Optane or something, inside Node's binary itself to also use TypeScript as a checker, not just as a type stripper and just running the code, because there is basically no use of using Bun for running the script if there is an error, right? Because for example, I can change this to string, and this code technically now has error, but Bun will happily execute it, because all Bun is doing, or all Node is doing, or all TSX is doing, is all of these guys are just type stripping it blindly and they're just executing it, right? So you can run wrong TypeScript code as well. That's completely possible. That is where you need TSC, which is TypeScript compiler, in order to check whether the script is right or not. If you invoke it with TSC, for example, I don't have it installed globally, but if you install it, you will see that it will show you this exact same error that it's saying me here. Argument of type number is not assignable. But yeah, TSCO brings in performance improvements that might make it possible for even runtimes like Bun and Node.js to use TypeScript checking within the execution phase. It'll be slower, surely, at the start time, which is like when the project is just starting, but the file is just executing, but it's actually a good trade-off, I would say. Like even if it takes like a couple of seconds or maybe like 4 or 5 seconds to start a server, but you are guaranteed to know like what you have written is valid actual TypeScript, I think that's a huge win. Because right now what you have to do is you have to split the starting of the file if you're doing TS, or if you're just running it with JS. So you have to split the transpiling of that TS to JS, and you have to split the linter step because it's just so slow. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I am excited to see how and where this space is going, and of course, like, just competition between Bun, Node, Deno, and these runtimes and these software pieces just help you as a developer. So that's a win for you, because as Bun is adding more features, Node's team is compelled to release more and more things. They can't slow down, because then they'll start to lose people for Bun. I mean, hypothetically, if Bun was extremely stable and there was no issue or nothing like a sig fault or anything like that, it makes no sense to use Node, right? The only thing that I'm using Node for now, for example, is stability, which is an extremely important thing, but that's also just one thing, right? So that's why teams like Node also have to move fast to become feature parity with softwares like Bun and Deno, and I'm all in for that. So that's all for this one. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video very soon.